So I'm Andrea LeBlanc. I am the ILA Marketing Forum Manager this year. And the ILA Marketing Forum is a great group of people. If you're ever interested to join us, please, let Tamara know, and she can give you all the details and hook you up with connecting with us. I'm also the Communications and Marketing Manager at Palatine Library. I've been involved in this forum from the beginning. I feel like it just keeps going, and it's a great group of people. So, we're here to really help each other and share our successes, our woes, our our joys, our complaints. Anyhow, so this month we decided we were going to talk about your marketing and promotion ideas for bringing or welcoming people back into the building. I know that might sound really odd right now and feels weird to think about asking people to come back because COVID numbers are, high and there's so much uncertainty. But we have to be thinking about it. We have to be planning for it. So it does feel a little weird, especially right now. And I know that many of us are experiencing a lot of problems with people and mask wearing and not wearing masks and all the difficulties that come with people coming to the building. But for sure, COVID has definitely impacted, at least at my library, our door counts are definitely down, our program attendance is definitely down. And so we are trying to think of ways to encourage people to come back in. We want them to feel like our libraries are safe places to be. Good places to be in the community. We're thinking about them and we miss them. So all that to say, it feels like we really need to talk about this, and I really would. I have a few things to share, but then I want to open up to the group, and if anyone has any ideas or things they're thinking about, let's talk about them. So in particular at Palatine, we just finished a renovation at our main library, and our branches are almost done. So we definitely want people to start coming into the building more and seeing all the cool new stuff, especially our makerspace. So we definitely hope more and more people come in to see all that we've done. So as we've been thinking about how do we get people back in the building, one of our managers, she saw an idea that Warrenville Public Library did. Is there anyone here from Warrenville? I don't see any hands raised. Okay, so I don't want to, I'm not an expert at what they did, but I didn't want to talk over someone who could tell us more about it. But it seems like last September they had a welcome back gift card drawing idea. And it seemed like it was part of when they were reopening all their full services to the community. So it was basically like, I have a handout here, welcome back gift card drawing. If you came in and registered for a card, or if you used your card to check something out, then you got your name entered into a drawing, and they had $25 McDonald's gift cards and $25 Target gift cards. So I don't know if they purchased them themselves or got those businesses to sponsor them, but we thought that was a nice idea. And people love free things and get a little bit of something to get them to engage. So we took that and developed it more for this spring for us, and to coordinate with National Library Week, which is April 3rd through the 9th. And so we thought we'd take the whole month actually of April and use it as we're celebrating National Library Week. The title of my copy for the newsletter is Come Back, We Miss You. Just being really like real and authentic. We miss you, please come back. Kind of highlighting some of the things that people might not know about from our renovation. And then I've written the whole month of April is for you, our community, and explain that anyone who comes in during the whole month and does anything, mostly everything. So if you use a study room, if you use a computer, a laptop, if you check out an item, obviously, if you come to a program, if you go visit one of the desks, if you go to the workshop, you're going to get an entry for your name to put into a drawing. We're going to do weekly drawings. We're going to do 3 winners per week. So it's like $25 each. And so that the whole month of April, people can come in and whatever they do, they can get entry multiple times. We decided if they come in April and get a brand new card, they'll get a double entry. So we're doing that. And I know it could be kind of intensive for a whole month. Staff might get tired of handing out little pieces of paper for entries for people, but so we're going to take some time and think about that procedurally and make sure that all the staff know, you know, we want people to enter. Here's the things that you could give them a slip for. And we hope that this will increase our door counts and you know, have a little bit of a fun, light perspective. You know, spring is coming. Hopefully the weather will be better, and hopefully COVID will be better, and people will want to, you know, come out more and do stuff at the library. So, you know, I'm definitely looking forward to this. It could be kind of some tedious work, like I said, for staff. So anyhow, that's what we're planning for April. Anybody have any comments or things they want to share related to anything I said? Okay, so I'm definitely gonna, you know, make sure that we watch the door counts, and maybe in May or so, May, June, I'll give you guys an update, see if it helped or not. I would probably be counting tickets forever. I know that also, Chris, I think you had something you guys are doing at your library to kind of help people or incentivize people to come back into the library. Do you want to share?
No is the answer to what you just said, but we want people, yes, of course, but incentivizing them right now, no. But what I was going to bring to the conversation for today, though, was an article that I found from NPR. It just kind of showed up on my radar, and I was able to find it. And so, if I can, I'll share my screen real quick so we can all take a look at it together. And I thought that this was a really good way for them to grab people and acknowledge that sometimes the content they put out there just is a hit or miss for some people. And so they call it out. Maybe you missed these 11 cool topics or cool posts. And they acknowledge right here, sometimes they land and sometimes they don't. But these are ones that the editors in particular thought were really cool. And so I thought, well, you know, we are all putting out content. We're all putting out things. And sometimes there's good things and sometimes there's bad. And sometimes there's things that we think will be really cool. But they maybe just either don't hit people at the right time, or they just don't find the people that we intend them for. And so I think it's a really cool thing that NPR is saying, hey, we have all this content out here. We think you'll like it. We're giving you one more shot to find it in a very curated and very specific way. And so I think that there's some lessons here that we could learn as library marketers, and just kind of humanizing it a little bit, and really acknowledging that, you know, sometimes we need to give things a second chance or an extra push. And I'll put that link in the chat for everybody in case you want to look at that article again and kind of get some inspiration from it. But that was something that I think we could do here at the library. We've produced so much digital content over the past 2 years, and some of the things that I thought would be really successful, like our 60-second story time, little tidbits on social media, kind of setting that little dipping our toe, if you will, into the world of TikTok. Although we don't have a TikTok, but we're just kind of generating a back roll of content so that if and when we do roll out a TikTok, we have something to populate it with. I thought that those would be way more successful than they are. 60-second story time. It's got alliteration in it, and it's bite-sized little things you can do with your kid at home. But they haven't been as popular as we thought that they would be. We're still producing them. I think we're going to give it a full year of just trying to do this once a week, and then kind of reevaluate from there. But that would be something that I would include in this, is sort of like a, hey, you may have missed these 60-second story times, but they're really cool because X, Y, and Z, and here they all are for you.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, Chris, because you also have the reverse, where you have things that hit big and you never really have any idea why. Our young adult librarian did this crayon resist art tutorial on YouTube, and it's had like 1,800 views. I mean, people just keep finding it. So maybe there is like a book riot, top 5 videos from Rock Island Library or from Lincolnwood, or, I do think people do need a lot of reminding. And, certainly it's true with services as well. They're like, oh yeah, you have that, and I'm as guilty as the next person of I put it out there and then I move on to the next shiny thing.
Yeah. Well, and I think that it's okay to acknowledge too that over the past year, our attention has been divided in ways that or past 2 years, our attention has been divided in ways that we never thought it would be. Right. I mean, just as individual consumers, and if you've ever heard me talk before, you know that one of the first things that I always reference for people is that we are consumers. So we know personally what works and what doesn't work to grab our attention. And so we should replicate that in our communications for our libraries. And so I know that as a consumer, my attention has been shiny object, huge problem, bigger problem over here, all these different things that kind of, take me away. And I appreciate when there are reminders. I don't look at those as a bad thing. I appreciate it because it loops me back and it's like, oh yeah, that was something that I wanted to dive deeper into, but I totally forgot about it because a hurricane popped up in Arkansas or whatever. But
Yeah, and back to Andrea's point, I have had a plan to do like a geofence advertising campaign for over a year and a half. Again, to reach out to areas of our service area and remind people about library cards and about all the wonderful things we offer. And I just keep pulling back on it because A, it's not a great time to encourage hordes of people to visit the library, or, B, it's, the surge rate has gone back up again, or, and I don't know, I think I'm beginning to think at some point we just need to put them out there and let people decide for themselves what they're going to do. And, because there are alternatives. We're certainly continuing to do curbside, continuing to push our digital services, continuing to do hybrid type programming that is either take home or whatever. So our door counts and our number of people coming in to getting cards is trending back up. We're certainly not up to the pre-COVID times yet. And I do think there's been some really changes in the way people do consume services that will continue to be a factor for us to work with. But yeah, I share your frustration, Andrea.
I definitely agree. Just because we're having this incentive, I don't think people are going to be jammed in the door to come in. Yeah, I think they're going to self-select. So even though, we have to be careful that we don't want to sound like we're got blinders on and we don't know what's going on in the world, right? But we do want to encourage people, absolutely come in. We've got stuff for you. Back in the beginning of COVID, one of our marketing messages was grab and go. Like, you can come in and then please leave, right? So we did, after a while, after using that messaging for probably, I don't know, I left it up for probably good 3, 4, maybe even 5 months. And we started hearing some complaints like, it really sounds like you don't want us in the building. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's time to get that message gone and just, take it off of there. So we do have to be careful how we come off, right? Yeah. So I think, let's see, in the comments, Doug, you shared something. Do you want to talk about, you did something similar? Let's see. Something similar with 11 other McHenry County libraries to celebrate Library Lovers Month. And there's a link there he shared with the
I can talk about it a little bit if you like.
Sure.
I didn't spearhead it, but we're part of it. And with 11 other libraries, we've basically created an expedition. And the object is to visit one of the participating libraries first, and you'll get a lanyard and a button. And as you visit the 11 other libraries on the list, you'll get a stamp and a button from those libraries. And it's built around exploring the different libraries in the McHenry County area. And if you complete the expedition, you'll be entered into a drawing for gift cards with at least a package. I believe they're either $50 or $100 value. They're pretty exceptional. They range from food to chocolate, chocolatiers and bakeries, and different. There's a wine one and a beer one, and just different, a different variety of packages that they can win. And again, the object is falling right around our grand opening for our completed building. So the object was to try to get people in the door and doing something different. And was spearheaded with some really, really smart, intelligent people having the same goal. And I think it's important, you know, to see the differences in libraries. They are all different. And obviously we're excited about ours because it's going to be opening for the first time on February 7th.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations. How long have you been closed?
We're going on about 4 weeks. We had to extend it. We were supposed to open this Monday on the 24th, and we basically had to extend it about 2 weeks. Some supply chain errors, you know, got in the way as far as furniture and some equipment we needed, and we had a couple of roof issues that we're taking care of. So it's unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. These things happen when you're doing an addition and a renovation. So, you know, it's typical. I think our process would have been a lot faster and a lot different had we started from scratch and built fresh. But, you know, when you're adding on to a building that's, you know, 25 years old, and you know, these kind of things happen. So we're patient, we're ready, we're excited. And I'm from Huntley. I saw Lisa Lockhart asked. It's Huntley Library. So we've been open with the addition for about a year, but now our old library has been completely renovated, has a complete fresh new look, and we're excited.
That's great. That's great. So maybe just give us a little bit about how you've been promoting this, because it's several other libraries involved. So what kind of things
Yeah,
do you do to promote it?
we're and you know what's great about working with other entities, not just, you know, in our community, but other libraries and in general, is that a lot of it comes together easily because we can work well together, but then you learn things along the way too. And one of the things we learned quickly about this is about sharing and utilizing tools to share better. But as far as promotion, it's you know, each library is doing their own individual promotion, so it'll be in their newsletters, it'll be on their website, it'll be on their social media, but we're also reaching out to newspapers, obviously, different organizations that are participating in it or have donated in it, or we have purchased gift cards from. So we're all working together to make sure it is promoted beyond the walls of the library significantly to people that would have interest in it. That's
Okay.
that. I wish I could tell you more, but you know, like I said, my part of it was more making logos and getting things organized, and so many people were involved in this process that I don't want to take credit or do anything out of the ordinary, but I do want to give them all credit for having it work, because it's you know, especially like you guys had said earlier with COVID, we're not together often. You know, we're doing a lot of things through email or Zoom or different ways of communicating. And for us to be able to pull it off, I'm pretty happy with what the end result is going to be.
Yeah, great. I mean, it sounds like a really well thought out incentive. So hopefully it goes well for you.
Thank you. Appreciate
I
it.
like the prizes. I want some of those prizes.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing the final list and getting everything promoted for that as well. And I looked at a draft, I think it was Thursday, and it's good. I mean, it's going to have a little something for everybody.
Great. I was just
Every
looking
time.
oh, good. There's some more comments here. Nina shared, she saw something that cited, she couldn't remember the source, but the average person sees 10,000 ads every day. That's insane. Oh my gosh. We should take a break sometimes, right? I can say that as a marketer, I need a brain dump sometimes. And then Charissa, I find it so hard to reach people in general because everyone has become very selective in how they receive information. Social media algorithms certainly aren't helping, for sure. I agree with that. I know that we completely ramped up our email marketing over this last year, and we'll continue to do that. And hoping we can have some more conversations with this group about how we're doing that and how, you know, the tips and tricks we learned for email marketing. Anyone else have something they want to share related to encouraging people to come back in the building?
Well, just a comment on email marketing. We've leaned pretty hard into that, but now as a consumer, I'm looking at my personal email feed, and I swear I get 15 emails from Kohl's every week. They all sound very frantic about wanting me to come back. And so I have had anecdotal conversations with our patrons who are like, oh yeah, I get emails from you all the time, but I don't read them. So I don't know, some conversation or tips on how to get people to actually look at what we're sending them. I don't have the secret sauce, so.
The secret sauce, I forget where I heard this. It was something like, you know, people are kind of protecting themselves and they're choosing, you know, what they want to, what information they want. So we have to find ways for them to, so for us to be invited, right, into that they actually want this information. So again, that means that we have to spend the time putting together a content it's not too long. You know, we have to respect people's time, and just like Nina shared, they're seeing so many things. We have to be concise and brief and make the content accessible for them. So right, I don't have the secret sauce, but those are the kind of things that kind of bubble up to the top of my head as being invited into their emails, right? They want it. So a lot of times we're so busy. I know I've caught myself doing this, like every week, the same copy, subject line, the same title for this grouping of things, and I try to push myself to write differently. Not that I want to write more, but you know, change it up a little bit. Put a fun like image in there. Put a goofy GIF in there. I don't know. Throwing stuff out at the wall. Anybody have any good tips about how I know that for us, when we put in some interesting preview text, we've actually seen our open rates go up a little bit. So I can say that for us, that's helped. Anybody got any thoughts about better emails?
One thing that we did over here is we were initially sending out weekly, like, this is what's happening this week emails Monday morning. And we changed those to be Sunday evening, and our open rate went up by about 10%.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, and that may just be a Lincolnwood specific thing. I don't know, but I think doing that A/B testing or changing those kinds of variables at those levels are critical. I never would have thought that the difference between Monday morning and Sunday afternoon, and we changed literally nothing else in those emails other than when they hit people's inboxes.
Right. So it's probably worth it to do a little bit of testing and trial and error there. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I echo what you say about the preview text. I think that's really key, because I think people, again, as someone says, are self-selecting or self-sorting using that preview text. And so I try to front load it with, you know, here's 3 things you need to know from this newsletter. And that has helped. I always struggle with catchy subject lines because I always seem to like be working on an email at a time where I'm just particularly dry or uninspired or something. But you know, there's all these little webinars out there on it where it's like, you know, you start with a count, or you start with even sometimes starting with a negative is more eye-catching than starting with a positive. But yeah, I love that idea of switching that time of day. Or the time of week. That's a great tip.
Right. Definitely. And I think time of day too can make a difference. We send ours are usually on Thursday, and I think we've scheduled them earlier in the day, and they seem to do a little better that way. And we use emojis. So I don't know why that helps. It just does. We weren't using them before, and now we put emojis in the preview text. So simple things might work. Let's see. Anyone else? Questions, comments?
This may sound a little dismal, but my thought process behind email is always less is more. And the nice thing I think is when you're deleting your email, you're always looking at who it's from. So even if you don't read it, they still see your library name on there, and it may spark something in their head. It's not the greatest, thing, but at least you're getting in front of them versus, just disappearing.
Yeah.
I hate to be the voice of doom and gloom also, but I was actually reading an article yesterday on Adweek about how the privacy protections that are included with Apple iOS 15 is totally trashing metrics for email open rates. You can't count on them anymore, and they are going to be totally not. So if somebody's looking at their email on their phone, it's not gonna register. It's not gonna hit your metrics properly as far as open rates go, and how you need to be switching to a more interactive kind of, whether it's a click through or something like that. Are they actually interacting with that email? Because Apple's iOS is not going to tell you whether or not they actually opened it and looked at it.
Wow.
Thanks, Donna. That sucks.
Fun
Also-
times.
It's sad to hear.
Oh,
me-
boy. If it's not one thing, it's another. It keeps our job challenging, right? We got to keep trying to work around those things. And we don't have the big dollars that those other companies do. So in spite of that, I feel like we hopefully have a different emotive feeling when someone looks at an email from a library as opposed to, whatever store, Bed Bath Beyond, whatever I'm seeing in my email. Hopefully we're not getting, geez.
It does make me think, though, that maybe we need to put a little bit more stock as library marketers and communicators in surveys for people, whether it's post-program or just like generic ones that, you see those all the time at the end of receipts when you go to a store. Maybe there's a way that we can integrate more of those for libraries. I think we need to hear from people how they're getting information, how they're finding out about stuff from us, and how they're finding out about stuff from not really our competitors, but other similar organizations in town, whether they're getting stuff from the village or schools, or how they're communicating, so we can replicate that if it's working for them too. But I think that there's going to be a little bit more of a push, and there needs to be more of a push from us as marketers to really put more surveys out there on a more frequent basis than we are, if we even are.
Yeah, that's could be a whole other roundtable, Chris. Thanks. That's a good topic, because writing survey is really important, and the kind of questions you ask and all that. But that's definitely a good reminder. I probably have had that on my to-do list for a good year and haven't really implemented it.
This
Go ahead, Nina.
is sort of related, and we haven't really done that much with it now recently, but we did our strategic plan, and it was this general thing, like to raise awareness, like the word awareness is like throughout the whole plan. And so I worked with our web designers, and who did a lot of surveys on our recent web facelift and stuff. And so they created personas for us, because we had a lot of data from our strategic plan. So they created personas based on, and they're mostly our users, right? They're not non-users. But it's really interesting. And I think I'm a little embarrassed to say this, we're going to start email marketing in the spring. We have not done it yet, but it was an interesting exercise to understand that we know people use the library differently, but you have to speak to them differently as well. Like there's not one size fits all. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, we've done similar exercise, but that was related to our website redo, and it was interesting to kind of think about different personas and the demographics and what kind of people interact and engage with the library. So that's a good exercise. I'm glad you're starting that. There's a comment over here from Cindy Starks about Coal City. They're doing a library road trip with area libraries during April. We ask people to visit all the participating libraries and get a passport stamp, turn in at least at the last library you visit, enter drawing for a gift basket worth $200. Each library is doing a basket, including gift certificates for local businesses. So her mic is out. So that's another really good idea to get people to interact and come back into the library. Let's see. Oh, spam emails. Anybody else have anything you want to share that they're working on?
I kind of wanted to chime in. Chad had said something earlier about going through his annual report numbers and looking at that. And I agree that I don't want to speak for him, but we're doing the same thing. And it was really exciting just to kind of put a little bit of sunshine after our some sad kind of stuff. Our circulation numbers between 21, 20 and 19 were actually up compared to 2019. But our digital checkouts have more than doubled. So it's really taking the place of that. So I think that's an interesting thing to think about, even with email content, is looking at how people are changing how they're using the library, even if they're not coming into the building. We're actually doing better in some way. I don't want to be overly optimistic, but like our circulation is actually up compared to 2019, which just felt like such a really like sunshiny kind of stat to me to really highlight. And just thinking about how people are still getting our services or our materials, even if they're not coming in for a program, and things like that. So but Chad had said something in the chat about how he was looking at annual reports. I don't know if you wanted to speak to that at all, Chad.
Okay, I'm not seeing Chad. I mean, Christy, so have you kind of tried to celebrate that publicly? Have you been sharing on social media that people are using digital more or things like that?
We're actually putting it into our newsletter for spring because we finally got all of our stats from the end of the year and everything. So we've got like a lovely little chart, and then sort of our top checkouts and things like that. So we're hoping we're going to do actually a spread in the newsletter to kind of celebrate all of the stuff that we did in the last year, and kind of repeat. I know it looks like Chad said his internet's unstable, but kind of to speak to what he was referencing and what Chris had talked about. It was lovely to go back and be like, oh my God, we did all of this stuff. And we want to make sure people like remind them that what we're doing. And I'm sure that there's a lot of, we're getting the sentiment of we're in this little building, just kind of working away, and people don't get to see everything that they're doing because they're not able to come in and they're not comfortable or they don't want to mask or whatever. So it is kind of a nice memory jog to remind us what we want to talk about as well.
Nice, yeah. And I think I forgot to mention also in our spring newsletter that I was talking about with the April events, like we're also going to have 30 things you didn't know what you could do with your library card. We're going to do one of those lists again. And then we have all that content to keep pushing out in other ways on our website and social media and stuff like that. So definitely we have to keep saying all those things. It's great to hear that your digital numbers, I'm assuming that's similar for most of us, that digital has either gone up or stayed the same, which is great. That means people are still engaged. People still love the library. Let's see. What else has been in the chat here? Project Outcome has great resources and is free. Who wants to talk about Project Outcome? Leslie? Okay, I don't think most of us have used that. I think I've heard of it. Go ahead.
I have actually used it in the past. It is a free resource and it does the tabulations for you. So those are good things. I'm a little frustrated at some of the questions that they ask as required questions because our patrons don't always interpret them the way I think Project Outcome does. And so the results we get are always maybe as beneficial as they could be to us. You do have the ability to add extra questions, which we've taken advantage of. When we were using it, and I will have to say, it's been a couple years since I've used it, the formatting abilities weren't really there with the surveys. It may have improved since I've used it. Since we've gone to Orange Boy, I've used more of their surveying capabilities for specific purposes. And we're actually engaged in a website renovation right now with Library Market. And, you know, as part of that, you do a survey to your customers about your website. And they were a little surprised how many responses we got back. We get something like 350 responses to our website email survey. So they do work. And I think it's worth asking people what they want. So it's a kind of a qualified recommendation for Project Now, I guess, or for Project Outcome.
Right. Let's see. Just looking through some of these chat comments here. Does anybody want to ask their question that they put in chat? Francisca, could I ask if the proof of vaccine mandate has been a factor for any one of you? Do you feel that libraries are exempt from this? We do a few fitness programs that we plan to keep virtual moving forward because of this requirement. Anybody have thoughts?
I think they're going to be taking that down probably within the next 6 to 8 weeks or so. It does not seem like it's politically popular to keep doing that, so I wouldn't worry too much about it as an institution. I mean, we're not here in Lincolnwood. We're not requiring proof of vaccines or anything like that, even though, and I guess you can make an argument for it with your fitness programs, but I personally would not worry about it.
It's never been a factor for us downstate. I don't know if that's been a factor in the Chicago area where that is, but it's not something that we have done. We just are very stringent on requiring masks.
It's like it's a city of Chicago and now Cook County kind of a thing, but I would imagine that it'll be gone for better or for worse, depending on how you look at it, in probably 6 to 8 weeks or so at most.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess
We're,
the director is the one that's really driving that. I personally think that we can hold a little yoga class with 10 people and not require that, but it's the upper management that's disagreeing. So that's why I was curious whether anyone is, you know, has different thoughts on that. So I know that the Oak Park Health Department, where I'm in River Forest, but I live in Oak Park, and Oak Park has its own health department, and they made Oak Park Public Library exempt from the vaccination requirement. So, which I think it makes sense because, you know, it's a real barrier to entry for a lot of the population, that especially like the homeless population that might not have paperwork and things like that. But anyway, I was just curious. It's just this ongoing discussion that we're having in our building. So.
right, and we never know what's going to change,
Yeah.
or yeah, you have to be ready for all that.
Yeah.
We're in Cook County. We do, I think, yeah, we do our yoga stuff online, I believe, right now, and you know, we just closed our cafes, so really can't eat in the library anymore. So that part of the, you know, the mandate didn't matter. So yeah, I do tend to think about those people who really would struggle with proving that, like you said, the homeless population or the people that, you know, don't have good access to those things. So
well, we are downstate, just outside of Peoria, and we have never required proof of vaccine. You know, we have been very stringent about requiring masks, and it's like around here, we are the only place that requires masks. I mean, I was pulled up at Casey's the other day and big sign on their door, masks are required to enter. Nobody going in and out of Casey's had a mask on, and none of the staff had masks on. And it's like, okay, so what's going on? But, we're just like, as long as we are taking even 1 penny of taxpayer dollars, if the state has a mask mandate, we are going to keep it up and enforce it.
Sure, right. Yes, we're all feeling the tension and the pain with that.
We, I don't say we require a mask. We just, we ask people to wear one, and staff are, especially the people who work at the front desk, they're always good at reminding people, but we don't ever want to go to the mattresses with anybody on it, because it could be people, it can get very ugly, especially with people with their children or something like that. So I would think, mandating vaccine requirement is a burden for staff too. And that's, I think, a hard thing for us to ask people.
Right. Well,
It would only be for fitness, not for anything else. Only if you wanted to do like a Zumba or yoga or something.
yeah.
But we're in River Forest and the Oak Park area. We're on the other end of the spectrum, and we've actually banned patrons because of their refusal to wear masks. It's just a whole different environment over here. So
Yeah,
we've had
each got,
quite a few incidents. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've each got different communities and things that we've got to enforce. Right. Totally. I don't want to get kind of deep in the weeds on the mask conversation, but keep up the good fight, everybody. So we've got like about 15 minutes left. We've got some other questions that we kind of had thought about asking the group, and one of them I thought, if y'all feel like you'd want to share, what's been your most engaged with piece of marketing, social media or print, from the past couple of years? Anything that comes to mind that it's been really successful, maybe you didn't think it was going to be, or something that surprised you? So I'd like to open up that question to the group.
I'll start. I think Instagram Reels have been huge for our library. We really started doing them over a year ago, and we kind of just jump on the trends, but bring everything back to make it library related. And I mean, they get hundreds of thousands of views, and we know it's not, just people from our library watching them, but our mindset behind it is, if we are promoting libraries as a whole, then maybe someone who saw ours is going to go to your library or get their card, or just in my own personal life, I share them all to my personal Instagram, and the number of friends and family who have been like, wait a minute, what's Libby app? What is this? How do I need to get my library card? Or like, oh, I was looking for a new book recommendation. Thank you. I mean, I've had probably, 10 to 15 just personal connections with people in the DMs being like, oh, cool, I was looking for new books. Thanks. Or I've been meaning to get my card. And I think it's been great. Like, I gave a presentation about it with Hollis from Schaumburg at the ILA in October. And I mean, it's been really fun to do. It takes a little getting out of your comfort zone, but like once you start working on them, they're really fun and creative. And to me, that was more time, or that was time better spent in getting more views than making a poster for our lobby that the like 20, 30 people that come in are going to see. So that's just personal for Foundale. If anybody wants to see them, you can go to Instagram.com/Fountaindale LIB and see what we've been doing for the last year or so, but they've been really fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check them out. What's the most fun? Is it picking out the music? What's the most fun? Why do you think people are engaging? Like, what's the one thing you think you're doing really well?
Well, we do use trending audio, so that's a huge piece of when you're doing them. So a part of my job now is to sit and watch Instagram a little bit every week and just be like, okay, what's popular? Which ones do I keep seeing? And then really, I think the most fun part has been like, okay, how can I relate this to the library. So one that's like really ridiculously silly is there was an audio of I think it was Kourtney Kardashian like saying like, I can't eat this, but isn't it so nice to smell it? So we filmed me like smelling a book, and it just was like, you know, we know you guys do it too, or who doesn't love the smell of a, you know, a book. Come in and pick some up. And it's just been, I think that one had over 2,000 or over 1,500 views. So
Wow, that's great. That's so clever.
mhm.
Nice. I think that's a good idea. Looking at the what's trending, what are people really gravitating towards? So spending time on that. I mean, yes. Okay, everybody here gets to spend time looking at social media for trending stuff. Tell your boss you need to do that. No feeling guilty about it anymore.
I encourage everyone to click on Bronwyn's link that she just shared because, oh, and I didn't even see Chad's yet, but it's delightful. The Tilda
cool.
Swinton meme.
Oh, cool. Great. Okay, anybody else have something they've really enjoyed or has really been good?
You know, sometimes it's just the goofiest posts that do the best, really. Posts and Instagram. You know, somebody mentioned the Bernie stuff. We did a bunch of those, and those got huge numbers. We did some goofy posts a while ago about, you know, taking up bad stock photos of librarianship or vintage photos of librarianship and having people put their own captions on it. And they're just goofy as all get out, but they really did very well. Just see if I can't find any of them, but I can maybe share them to the Facebook site later. And we had a lot of fun with it personally too.
That's great. For us, there was just around Thanksgiving, right? The week of Thanksgiving, I happened to be in my office and I was looking out the window and there was this line of cars like backed up right in front of our building, like around the corner. And I'm like, what is going on? And there's a Baker Square right kind of 2 blocks away from us. And so it's the Pie Line. And so I went outside with my phone and just did a quick little video and, you know, shot a picture of this huge line. And I even said, I wish they were all coming to the library, but I guess pie is really important right now in Palatine. You know, and then I went ahead and shared it on Everything Palatine because everybody was freaking talking about the pie line and how long people were in this line for hours waiting for their pie. And so you know, that was something I hadn't anticipated at all, but so just keeping your eye out on what's going on in your community and you know, trying to you use that to just make people think about the library. I don't know, it was unexpected that it was going to do so well for us.
Can I add our ARC wall to that, Andrea?
Oh yeah.
So something that our social media coordinator worked on, our communications coordinator, she's our social media manager as well, is for Veterans Day, we have a giant ARC wall on our first floor in our youth space. And we basically had forms for people to fill out if they were veterans or if they knew someone who was a veteran, and they could mention that person and how long they've been in service. And then every day, Maria and I, our communications coordinator, we would hang them up on the ARC wall. And then at the end, she filmed a TikTok of all of the people that filled it out. And it actually got really full. And a lot of people were participating in that. So then that way we reuse that content in our emails and on social media.
Yeah, that was pretty successful. Better than we thought it would go. So. Okay, more examples. We've got like 10 minutes left. We have enough people in the room. We've got to share. We've got to brag on something.
So up in Algonquin, we're working on, it's an ongoing project that I'm doing to reach out to new residents. So I'm working with the Public Works Department, specifically water billing. And they're going to send me a list of new residents every month that come in. And then that way, every month I'm going to put together a personal letter, hopefully get the director to sign off on it, welcoming them to the community. And then saying, you know, everything that they can get with their library card now that they're part of our direct community. So that's a market we're going after. And hopefully that all pans out with them getting us the new residents that move in.
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah.
Part and parcel with that, with the whole like real estate trend thing, we generated a letter that we distributed to all the different real estate offices in our district for them to include with their new buyer packets, saying, hey, you know, you buy here in Woodford County, and now you can get a library card here. And this is, you know, this is where we're located. This is all that. And our real estate agents just love it because it gives their buyers a direct link into the community.
Yeah, it's a good one. Also, some other things that we're doing. I will say we had a lot of good success with email blasts to our winter reading patrons. So like how we send out a general one every week, we're also doing that specifically just for winter reading and promoting basically kind of record sets. We highlight like a different librarian every week and they put their top 50 book recommendations. That's been really good at making our collection move. High opening rates, high click rates for all that. And we also put our survey to evaluate our winter reading program. And usually like we would get like maybe 60 people in our surveys in the past, but now we're bordering 200, which is about half our program has responded. So that's pretty good success for a first time we're doing that. And then to try to also welcome people back, just a little background on this. It's the end of our 100th birthday as a library. So we were supposed to have a big gala at the end of it, which would be next month, be our 101st birthday. Obviously, we're not going to do that because of COVID. So we decided to revamp it into a set of library programs, which we dubbed Library 2121, which last year we've been looking at like the past decades leading up to our birthday. Now we're going to go to the year 2121, 100 years from now, and what our library could look like. So we're building a lot of backdrops. We built our own Stargate for people to take a picture with. We got like kind of a rocket going on here and just a bunch of different things for people to kind of come in and make our library Instagrammable, if you will. And part of that will be a set of library programs. Most of them are like kind of take and make in nature because that's just how things are trending. Have people like from the Peace Corps that are going to come, so maybe Peaceful Future. Get tomato seeds from space. So one of our librarians acquired seeds from the International Space Station. So that's pretty cool. And then we're going to build little goodie bags. And then it's like the first 300 people to visit us on our 101st birthday, or maybe on Tuesday. We haven't decided because we really like that. Next month is Tuesday, right? So February 22nd, 2022, Tuesday. Yeah, and just kind of have those goodie bags for first 350 people to come in, get a freeze-dried Neapolitan ice cream sandwich, some cool shades that look very Star Trek in nature. And some
Did you
glow
say
sticks.
freeze-dried?
Yeah. No, sorry. What is it? The dry freeze?
That's great.
Yeah. So yeah, we acquired that. Like my office is a total wreck with Amazon boxes right now. But yeah, it should be like a really fun way to try to get people to see the library in a different light. Our whole entrance is going to try to look like a spaceship launching pad. So we'll see how that works.
That's great.
Ryan, I missed part of it. You said like astronaut ice cream, and what was the other thing?
Yeah,
Sunglasses?
so we got they're kind of like visors. If you guys know Star Trek, remember the blind guy, Geordi LaForge? The kind of glasses that look like that. And we're very anti-plastic, so we're doing paper bags with stickers to present them in. So
That's great.
I'll
Who
share.
else? Yeah, go ahead.
I'll put my hand down. One thing that we were pretty proud of was for Black Friday last year. We did Black Friday at your library, and we made it kind of a spoof of 100% off books. Come on in and get your top deals at your library. Some people were kind of confused about it, but we explained it, and they thought it was pretty funny. And we also offered people that came in got to pick up a free library swag, pencil, magnet, type thing. And that kind of got us interested in looking into more library merch. So this year we're going to start looking at shirts, sweatshirts, hats, stuff like that. And people really have got some interest in it too. So we're pretty excited about that.
I like that idea.
We dipped our toe into that, Ron, when by setting up a store with Ray Gun. Does everybody here know who Ray Gun is? Yeah. So you can actually set up your own store, and there's a free version and a paid version, and we're cheap, so we took the free version. And you basically offer the things for sale, and they print them, they fulfill them, and we make $5 a shirt. Which for us was just a better way to kind of get started with it rather than ordering bulk items that, you know, who knows if they like them or not. So our version says Rock Island needs libraries. It's kind of a take on the Ray Gun shirt of America needs librarians or America needs libraries. And, you know, I won't say we've sold hundreds of them, but we've sold quite a few, more than I thought. And, you know, it's been a kind of interesting way to do that.
That's a very, very good idea. Instead of buying, we need 100 smalls and that's a lot. Thanks, Lisa.
And what was that resource again, Lisa?
Ray Gun. They're a progressive t-shirt supplier out of Des Moines and Iowa City and Cedar Rapids. And I worked with their customer coordinator to set up a Rock Island Library store.
Cool. All right, too. All right. Any last shares?
I'm going to share that link to our store.
Okay. Oh, yeah, Chris put it up there. Thanks, Chris. It's hard to look at you all and watch the chat. Oh, thanks, Lisa. Okay. Well, I feel like this has been a good discussion. I love seeing all your faces as well. Thank you for turning on your cameras. And hopefully we will continue to see COVID go down and we can start, you know, pushing these messages out there and putting good content out there. I know that I feel like I want to go look at everybody's Instagram now and see what kind of stuff people are putting out there. So anybody have any last comments? Any shares? No, I think that's it. Okay, everybody. Have a good weekend. Oh, you know what? Next month, February Roundtable, we're going to kind of continue this conversation. Sorry, about how to welcome new card holders. So join us next month, and Tamara's going to send out that link. Go ahead and sign up so you don't have to keep registering. She'll just get you signed up if you want it. Okay, thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.